Gallery and me have a sort of a running gag going that if for whatever reason one of us can't go to something that is probably fun and we were supposed to go together, but one of them can't go, and then the other one comes back afterwards, then we report back, and it was boring. It was so boring. I mean, why would you even? I mean, they didn't miss anything. It was boring. So, we were supposed to go and see the Marvels. However, Peanut Gallery, for whatever reason, couldn't make it. So I'm here officially telling you it was boring. This is the second of the Captain Marvel standalone films. There's a bit of jump between the first and the second movie, because the first one was 2019, so that's like 4 years. 2018, I think, even. So 5 years ago. There's quite a bit of time between them. The character does have a show up in Endgame, but it's not anyway big. I checked, it wasn't big. So this movie is kind of even though it's that many years later, it's still an in-between movie. I think that's one of the biggest problems with this movie. It's still an in-between movie, and we're sort of trying. I want to start something now. And I think that's the biggest complaint about this movie, is that it's not that. It's, however, a lot of fun movie. Boring, like I said, really boring, very boring. It's extremely boring. And was mediocre looks, so acting. It was fun. I mean, it was a fun movie. It's just a fun romp, written for a woman to play, by a woman, directed by a woman, music by a woman. There's a lot of female names on this movie. Also, the director is actually a person of color. So it was actually on the wiki. It listed it as, yes, it's as a Marvel movie, it's not doing the best. However, as a movie directed by a black female director, it is the second best ever. So it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? I don't think these Marvel movies have to worry that much about getting all the money back on the opening weekend, on premiere. I think they will earn it back over time. So this is a good movie about women, and I was actually with the person I was with was not female, and he said it's a girls' movie, and I was thinking about that, and I think he's wrong, because if you take the same people, gender flip them, you get Spider-Man and Captain America, because she's obviously the female Captain America, and the new kid on the block, Miss Marvel, is very much like Peter Parker, very, very same, and even the dynamic is the same. So it's a litmus test to, if you gender flip something and it is the same, then it's equal. If you gender flip it and it's not the same, then there's an issue. But it is the same. So this is in the style of a superhero movie, Marvel type superhero movie. The more pleasant end, I do have to say, it's they can be, if you go the Guardians of the Galaxy route, then you can be more gruesome, and they can be, but this one is serious enough. The stakes are high enough. The a little bit of smiles here and there, but nothing that distracts you from any serious subject matter, which is a complaint I've seen of other movies that you, because comic and this is something that doesn't translate to another language, because a comic is not a comic in another language and not has nothing to do with comedy. So somehow American things keep making a Americans, whenever they do something that has whenever they do a property that has roots in comic strips, they want to put something silly in it because comic, and it doesn't need it. And I do feel that this movie, it actually picked up what some of the girl comic fans might like. Now, Miss Marvel, who actually has a TV show of her own, which I haven't seen, which was not a problem that I hadn't seen it. She is a very normal 17-plus-year-old young lady who has some super abilities, and she doodling about meeting Captain Marvel sometime because she admires Captain Marvel, and so she's doodling in a way that any modern girl knows how you doodle, pretty serious doodling, and they animate that, the title sequence, and is animated that. It's really well done. And the way that I have accused and will accuse other movies of saying, oh, this is a boy's dream, the director is living out a boyhood fantasy, this is girlhood fantasy. So just as fair, just as straight up as fair. And because of the female director, female everything, they get that and they do that. And it is really a Marvel story, but they happen to be all mostly female. Most of the female. Fury is not female, but everybody else is female. And in the same way that any of these other things are, so it is not in any way lesser or different or out of sync or anything like that. There is the problem that when you ask a girl if she's willing to, if she would read about a boy or a girl, she says sure, and when you ask a boy, he says I want to read about a boy, and that is a thing which the world has to, the guys will have to learn to read about a girl once in a while, So this is an in-between movie. In the between, as in the entire big story, the big bad that's going to happen is still hasn't happened in this one yet. So, and it is an in-between because there's Miss Marvel on one side, and also Fury has a series again I haven't seen, and I didn't feel very upset that I didn't see them. I mean, I want to see them, but it's just for reasons of I haven't done it yet. But the film realizes that they have to make an audience without knowing these series, so you can go in and there are things that you feel that you have missed. However, mostly, and they are explained. For one thing, S.H.I.E.L.D. has disappeared and there's a new agency for Fury, but it doesn't really matter that it's a new agency. Miss Marvel, who's a young girl, has a family, and they are not really introduced, but it's obviously that's the mother and that's the father and that's the brother. It's very quickly And yes, I'm sure in the series you will learn a lot more about these people, and there you can see there is a lot behind that. And it's okay that I don't get that in the movie, but I know it's in the background. And in a way, because these series exist, I feel that the background is real and it's not just the quick paste on a placeholder or just some film shorthand. I know there's something behind that, and when I see the series, I will find what it is. Now I can see that these dynamics are quickly here and next to the next part of the story, because we don't have that much time. It is a very pretty movie, but not Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, was very, very pretty. And this one is sort of a little bit more ordinary pretty, but it's still, everything's handsome. It is some of it's in outer space, so I love me some good outer space romp. I kind of expected that. It's sort of sometimes these films do not at all what you expect, and sometimes they sort of do what you expect. And so I expected outer space, and I got outer space. So I'm kind of happy, and I got girls, and I'm kind of happy. So it's very difficult to pinpoint why a film is good if they're not brilliant. They don't need to be brilliant. I don't know if is it possible for a film to exist that is absolutely spot on everything? I don't think so. That doesn't work. So good enough is good enough. Really, it was an enjoyable story, well acted. I didn't feel anybody was being pushed in the wrong way. It was a little bit challenging here and there. There was the plot point where the characters switched very, very fast before they knew why they were switching so fast. That was a little bit disorienting. However, once you understand why they're doing it, then you got it much faster, and they were fast enough with the explanation. So no complaints. Great little plots. Because it's in outer space, we get to see some different planets, which is fun. They do some planet hopping, including one planet. It's a little bit of spoiler. One planet in which everybody sings at each other, and Captain Marvel had diplomatic relations with the prince there. His name is not Charming. Could have been, but his name is Jan. Played by Korean chappie Bak So Chun. They sing at each other, and so she gets to sing, and he gets to sing, and she sort of explains to the company who's with her that, well, she had to marry the prince because diplomatic relationships, but they're just good friends. And so she changes her outfit into a dress and dances with the prince. And you know what? I realized, isn't Marvel a Disney property? Isn't she now a Disney princess? I think it was an in-joke, so that was fun. Very charming Korean guy who plays the prince, and that's kind of spoilers if you want to look away, spoiler space. One of the complaints that I have about the film is that sometimes they're a little bit too cavalier with plots wrapping up. Also, this planet, I don't know what happened to it, because they don't wrap it up properly, and they leave them in the lurch with some bad guys staring down guns at them. So I don't know. So a little cavalier, also too cavalier with the powers. on the whole, in Marvel, you sort of know why people have powers and sort of how they work. Even something like Hulk or Captain America and Carol's is also an acquired power. She's not inherited, it's acquired. She got zapped by some sort of hyperdrive. But she kind of has Superman powers. She's very overpowered, and you like to know a little bit clearer where the limits are, and the not clear enough. I have to say that is it's the biggest complaint I have about this set. And also Miss Marvel, like I said, Miss Marvel has her own show, and I'm sure we'll find in the show we know what her powers are, but she has a bracelet in this thing, and she picks up another one, and it then gets lost again, and that's also not it's not very tidy. I do understand that these films have a problem, all of these films have a problem, that when they're making them sort of staggered. You're already in the end part of the middle part of another, and etc., etc. You can't always make it fit properly together. So I understand that they, especially a placeholder film like this, you try to go back to the status quo as it was before you started, because otherwise it will not fit to the next puzzle piece. I understand, but that's you have to do a little bit more work, I think. It's small niggly. I mean, on the whole, this is a very entertaining movie, and very much we learn a little bit more about everyone. We also get to see again in the first movie, Carol in 1995 leaves behind a friend and her daughter, a young lady of, I think 12 at the time. She can't have been younger than that. And when she comes back 2000 and now-ish, young lady has grown up. Young lady is a grown-up lady. She was in the blip. She was blipped away, but her mother wasn't. And very sadly, she lost her mother in the blip because time passes. So since she came back, there was no mother. So she's very upset. And there was also no Carol. Auntie Carol had disappeared for 30 years, promising to be back, but she wasn't. So little girl, who is now a grown girl, Monica, was a little bit upset. So lots of drama. Very nice. So I've debated with myself whether or not I should be doing this spoiler bit here, big spoiler bit. The salient point of this placeholder movie, apart from it being fun, is the Monica. That we have Carol and we have Kamala, so Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and then we have Monica. And Monica doesn't have, Monica Rambeau, she doesn't have a superhero name. And Miss Marvel gives her a pretty bit of a flack about it. From, what shall we call you? Miss Super or Miss something. And it's, no, I'm good. I'm just good being Captain Rambeau. Her mother name was also Rambeau. So I'm good. I'm fine being who I am. And she does have, again, not explained properly where she gets it, but she got a bit of the superpower as well. They should have explained that better. I hope maybe later we find out. She also has some of the superpower, but it's not very strong. And then at the end of the finale, they have to do a blah, and Monica realizes, or she knew she can detect the superpower, but she can't really do much with it. But she feels at this point she can do blah if Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel give her the power, so she can go and do blah. So she does blah, and ends up on the other side of the universe, on the other side of a rift which is closing, because that was the blah, realizing I can only close it from this other side. So, hi Monica, now we know why you didn't have a name. And credits, basically. And they're going, shit, I like Monica, she was nice, I want to give Monica, she nice. Please, can I have her? Pocket Monica, I'll take her home. However, there is the post-credit scene. And she wakes up on the other side, and next to her sits her mother, the mother who's dead. She sort of, huh, Mom! And then the mother says, who are you? I don't know you. She's wearing, Monica has a certain look, Mother has a certain look. Mother now is wearing a certain suit, and I could see it straight away because it has a big X on it. It has a stylized X on it, but it's obviously an X. And I already saw with Monica when she gets her super charge from Miss Marvel and from Captain Marvel. She's a black woman, big black hair, really big black hair, beautiful hair, and her eyes light up completely white. And I knew I was going, I know that look. That is what Storm looks like. X-Men girl Storm. But there's no X-Men in this Marvel universe. In this Marvel universe. But in the one beyond that rift that Monica just fell through. Because when she wakes, after she asked her mother, who is possibly not her mother, then they look around and there's a blue guy. He's very blue, very hairy, and I recognized him immediately. He's Beast from X-Men. So, but this is all post-credit stuff. So this is a big fat spoiler realm. If they're going for the bad guy that they were going for, Kang the Conqueror, who is a multi-dimensional character, then yeah, they can go to another dimension that has X-Men in it. We can have X-Men. Everybody was waiting for X-Men. So, and I'm not a really big X-Men fan. So it turns out I did look it up. The mother character plays a character named Binary, which like I said, I'm not an X-Men fan, so I don't know. But I hope it's not too small a minor character. So I hope she's going to be big. Incidentally, the actress who plays that is the actress who played the black female 007, the Bond lady. So now she gets her chance to finally. I hope they're gonna make her do big stuff because she's wonderful. Both of them, because now because of there's some jiggery poker with time. I think the mother is now. It could possibly be younger in that other universe, and the daughter is grown up. So now we can have mother and daughter. You know, I'm pretty happy. It's what do you say about a movie that is pretty good? Good enough. And it was very boring, and you should. And that was my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.